Hello students, hope you all are doing well. I'm Supreet Kaur, welcomes all of you on our YouTube channel Smart PTE Tricks. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for your love and support. And today I'm here to announce that now we are arranging our online classes again. For some circumstances, we were not arranging online classes and we got some complaints from all of you who are interested. But now we are arranging online classes on time, especially reading and speaking modules. And if you are interested, you can contact us on the number given below, as our contact preferences are changed now. And again, I would like to thank all of you from depth of my heart, because with your love and support we are reaching here. And keep supporting.
Now that the story's been scratched, it is only part of contingency planning. But it was a symptom of the dramatic turn of events in South Australia, and it flushed out other remarks from water academics and people like Tim Flannery, indicating that things were really much worse than had been foreshadowed, even earlier this year. So is Adelaide, let alone some whole regions of South Australia, in serious bother. Considering that the vast amount of its drinking water comes from the beleaguered Murray, something many of us outside the state may not have quite realized. Is their predicament something we have to face up to as a nation? Green chemistry is a concept designed to develop technologies which allow chemistry to be practiced with minimal damage to the environment or in an environmentally compatible way. And it's meant to cover both chemical processes and chemical products. The center, if you would, set up about 7 or 8 years ago, and the idea was to provide a hub of activities that covered fundamental research work, industrial collaboration, but also educational developments. So we work with schools and on public understanding projects as well, and also networking. So we network out to well over 1,000 people around the globe. Along the way we have built unashamedly beautiful buildings, 2 of which have won and another was runner-up in the prestigious United Nations World Habitat Award, the first time an Australian building has received that international honor. We rely on older concepts of Australian architecture that are heavily influenced by the bush. All residents have private verandas which allow them to socialize outdoors and also create some defensible space between their bedrooms and public areas. We use a lot of natural and soft materials to build beautiful landscape gardens.
The thing that makes it difficult is because even if life had evolved on Mars, the chances of being preserved are very small. If we use Earth as a reference and our planet is teeming with life, yet it rarely preserves evidence of life of the fossil record. And the focus now is on exploring for habitable environments. If you're looking for water, a source of energy, either solar energy or thermal energy or chemical energy, and then organic carbon, assuming life as we know it on Earth based on carbon. So those are sort of the 3 things that we're looking for in the course of our mission.
We are trying to understand the locomotion of one of our closest living relatives, which is the orangutan, and also the locomotion of all of the apes and the common ancestor of humans and the other apes. And in that area, we have had a big problem traditionally, and that we know a lot about how they move around the forest. I've been out to the forest and spent a year recording the different types of locomotion they use, but we have no idea about the energetic cost of how they move around the forest and the solutions that they find to problems of moving around the canopy.
For many years, The favorite horror story about abrupt climate change was that a shift in ocean currents could radically cool Europe's climate. These currents, called the overturning circulation, bring warm water and warm temperatures north from the equator to Europe. Susan Lozier, an oceanographer at Duke University, says scientists have long worried that this ocean circulation could be disrupted.
On educational grounds, we recommend that the use of the mother tongue be extended to as late a stage in education as possible. In particular, pupils should begin their schooling through the medium of the mother tongue, because they understand it best and because to begin their school life in the mother tongue will make the break between home and school as small as possible. It is axiomatic that the best medium for teaching a child is his mother tongue. Psychologically, it is the system of meaningful signs that in his mind works automatically for expression and understanding. Sociologically, it is a means of identification among the members of the community to which he belongs. Educationally, he learns more quickly through it than through an unfamiliar linguistic medium. The chapter now proceeds to consider those classroom contexts where the home language of students is developed. We first consider the importance of and issues related to home language development in schools. Next, we discuss the challenges bilingual students may face in monolingual schools, and ways such schools can still provide scaffolding and bilingual supports. We then turn to the specific context of bilingual immersion and the features and strategies used in these classrooms. Before we conclude, we consider a range of key topics for effective bilingual schools in general. Close to the idea of two or more languages being used for instruction is the concept of language across the curriculum. In all content areas, students learn skills, knowledge, understanding, concepts and attitudes mostly through language. Thus, every curriculum area develops language competence. All subject areas, from music to mathematics, science to sport, contribute to the growth of a child's language or languages. At the same time, achievement in a particular curriculum area is partly dependent on proficiency in the language of that area. Obtaining fluency in the language of chemistry, psychology or mathematics, for example, is important to understanding that subject. Taking the United States as an example, it is unlikely that such students will learn English solely through unmodified content instruction. Their level of understanding of English may be insufficient for them to fully comprehend mathematics or social studies as it normally taught to proficient English speakers, irrespective of whether a transmission of knowledge, pouring nuggets of knowledge into empty heads, approach or a progressive discovery learning approach is taken by the teacher.
The Anglophone North American cultural influence is often so strong and pervasive that French immersion children are in danger of becoming passive rather than active bilinguals outside the school gates. The same occurs in immersion schools in many other countries, where the minority language is a language of the classroom, but the majority language is the peer, prestige, language in the schoolyard and on the streets. The curriculum tends to be the same for immersion children as for their mainstream peers. While immersion attempts to cultivate empathy for a student's second language culture, the immersion curriculum has hitherto tended not to have major distinctive components to develop such empathy and participation. For example, in Canada, a no challenge is that French becomes the language of school and English the language of the playground, street and vocational success.
A child may not choose to engage in creative thinking because she lacks self-confidence and does not believe that she has anything of value to offer. Or maybe she becomes anxious when given an open-ended task with several possible solutions. Through observation and conversation, an adult can work out what is causing the child's difficulties and encourage her to work through them.
Another suggestion for adapting the notion of creativity to suit young children is to put the emphasis on the creative process, rather than to judge the quality of the products. This is because young children may not have developed all the skills they need to achieve a successful creative outcome.